The storm raged outside as the alien princess said, "You're mine." Human rain fell in thick, heavy sheets over the ruins of what was once called New Haven City. The wind screamed through broken buildings and twisted metal trees. Lightning flashed every few seconds, lighting up the dark sky in sharp white bursts. The ground was soaked in muddy ash from old fires mixed with rainwater, forming black puddles that reflected the chaos above. In the middle of it all, a young woman ran. Her name was Lily, and she was small but strong. Her dark hair was tied back in a messy braid. Her clothes were torn and stained with dirt and old blood. She carried a small pack on her back and a knife at her belt. Her boots splashed through the mud as she ducked behind a half-fallen wall, breathing hard. She was not alone. On her shoulder sat a small dragon no bigger than a house cat. Its scales were the color of warm copper, and its eyes glowed like amber coals. It made a soft hissing sound, its tiny claws gripping. Lily's jacket tied. Its name was Ember, and it had been with her since the end began. 3 years ago, the sky had split open, and ships came. Not human ships, but strange, sleek vessels shaped like blades of grass. They hovered without sound. And then, the world burned. The aliens called themselves the Kalar. They came not to talk but to take. They said Earth was now theirs, and humans were either to serve or be erased. Most humans were gone now. Some were taken as slaves. Some were killed in the great burning, and some just vanished into the smoke. Lily had survived by hiding, by running, by learning how to move like a shadow and fight like a cornered animal. But tonight was different. Tonight they had found her. She could hear them behind her, their voices sharp and cold like ice, cracking, their footsteps heavy and sure. They were Kalar hunters, tall armored figures with silver eyes and skin like pale stone. They moved fast and never got tired. Lily knew she could not outrun them forever. She needed a plan. She ducked into the remains of an old library. The roof was half gone, books lay scattered and soaked in puddles. The air smelled of wet paper and rust. She pressed her back against a crumbling wall and closed her eyes for just a second, trying to calm her racing heart. Ember nuzzled her cheek, a soft purr rumbling in its chest. Lily whispered, "We have to be quiet." But it was too late. A voice cut through the storm, smooth, cold, and certain. "You cannot hide." Human Lily's eyes snapped open. Standing in the doorway was a figure taller than the hunters, more graceful, more powerful. Her hair was long and silver like moonlight, her skin pale as snow. Her armor was not metal, but something alive. Vines of glowing silver wrapped around her arms and waist, shifting like living things. Her eyes glowed violet and fixed on Lily with terrifying focus. This was no hunter. This was something worse. Princess Vera of the Kalar Empire, the one who had ordered the burning of Earth. The one who now smiled as if she had just found a treasure. "You're mine, human," Vera said, stepping forward. Rain fell around her but did not touch her, as if the storm itself bowed to her. Lily's hand went to her knife, but she knew it would do nothing against someone like Vera. "Why me?" Lily asked, her voice shaking. But clear. Vera tilted her head slightly like a curious bird. "You survived the purge. You live alone in ruins. You speak to a sky drake, and it listens to you. You are not ordinary human." Ember hissed its wings, flaring, slightly tiny sparks dancing along its scales. Vera's eyes flicked to the dragon, and for the first time her calm expression shifted into something like wonder. "A bonded drake," she whispered. "You are a ritter." Lily did not know what that meant, but she did not like the way Vera looked at her now, not like prey but like something precious. "I'm not yours," Lily said, taking a step back. Vera's smile faded slightly, but her eyes stayed soft. "You do not understand what you are." "I understand enough," Lily snapped. "They killed everyone I knew. They burned my home. They took my sister and you. You led them." Vera did not deny it. She simply watched Lily with those violet eyes full of something Lily could not read. Then she raised one hand slowly. Lily braced for an attack, but nothing happened. Instead, Vera closed her eyes and whispered a word in a language that sounded like wind through ancient trees. Suddenly, Ember stopped hissing. The little dragon tilted its head, then let out a soft chirp, almost like a question. Lily stared at her pet. "What are you doing?" Ember leapt from her shoulder and hovered in the air between them. its glow brightening. Vera opened her eyes again, and this time there was sadness in them. Your dragon knows the truth. Lily, she said, riders and drakes have always been linked since the first stars were born. You did not tame it. It chose you, Lily's mind raced. She remembered the day she found Ember, just a hatchling curled in the ashes of her old school. It had looked at her with those glowing eyes, and somehow she had known it was not dangerous, it was lost like her, but she had never thought it meant anything more than that. Now Vera was saying it meant everything. Why are you telling me this? Lily asked, suspicion sharp in her voice. Because if I do not take you, someone else will, Vera said, and they will not be. Lily frowned. Who? The Hive Queens, Vera said. They rule the outer systems. They fear riders more than anything, because long ago riders commanded the great drakes, the ones who shape stars and guard the void. They ended a war that nearly destroyed the galaxy, and now they think I'm one of them. Lily said flatly. I'm just a girl with a pet dragon. You are more than that. Vera stepped closer. Rain still falling outside, but the air inside felt still and heavy, and you are the last one. Lily's breath caught the last one. Does that mean there are no other humans, Vera? Hesitated, then nodded. Most are gone. Some live in hidden colonies, but none have dragons, none have the bond. You dolefully looked down at her hands. They were small and dirty hands that had dug graves and fought off raiders and held Ember when he was sick. How can I be special? She whispered. Because the galaxy remembers riders, Vera said. And it is waking up again. As if on cue, Ember let out a low trill and pointed its snout toward the sky. Lily followed its gaze through the broken roof. She saw something move in the clouds. Not lightning, not a ship, but something vast and slow and ancient. Her heart pounded. What is that? Vera's voice was quiet, full of awe. The first call the great drakes are stirring. Lily did not understand, but she felt it in her bones, a deep hum like a song from far away. She turned back to Vera. You still haven't said why you're here. If you're not going to kill me or take me as a slave, I am here to offer you a choice. Vera said, stay with me, and I will teach you who you are, protect you from those who would destroy you, or leave and face the galaxy alone. Lily looked around at the ruined library, at the storm outside, at the life she had known for 3 years of running and hiding and surviving. It was not much of a life, but it was hers. She looked at Ember, who blinked at her with those warm amber eyes. Then she looked at Vera, who waited patiently, her expression open and honest for the first time. What if I say no? Lily asked. Then I will walk away, Vera said, and you will be hunted by powers you cannot imagine. Lily swallowed hard. And if I say yes, then you come with me to the Kalar homeworld. You learn the old ways, you meet other riders, if any still live, and you help me rebuild what was lost. Lily frowned. You want my help? After what your people did? Vera's gaze dropped for a moment, shame flickering in her eyes. I was young when the purge began. I followed orders. I believed we were saving the galaxy from chaos, but I was wrong. The Kalar grew afraid of power. They could not control, so they destroyed it instead of understanding. And now you want to fix it? I want to try, Vera said softly. Lily was silent for a long time. The only sound was the rain slowing to a gentle patter and Ember's soft breathing. Finally she spoke. I'll go with you, but on one condition. Name it, you stop hunting humans. If any are left, you protect them not as slaves but as people. Vera studied her, then nodded. I swear it by the first flame. Lily did not know what that meant, but the way Vera said it felt like a promise that could not be broken. Okay, Lily said. Vera smiled, a real smile this time, warm and bright like the first light after a long night. Then she held out her hand. Lily looked at it, then at Ember, who gave a happy chirp and flew to Vera's shoulder. That decided it. Lily took Vera's hand. As soon as their skin touched, a strange warmth spread through Lily's body. Not hot, but comforting, like sunlight after winter. And high above the clouds, the great shape moved again, closer. This time its wings casting shadows over the broken city. The storm was over, but something new was beginning. Lily did not know what waited for her among the stars, but for the first time in years, she did not feel alone. She had Ember. She had a purpose, and maybe even an ally in the last place she ever expected. Together, they walked out of the ruins and into the clearing. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but Lily was no longer just a survivor. She was a writer, and her story had only just begun. The sky above the Kalar homeworld shimmered with colors Lily had never seen before. Soft waves of violet and gold rippled across the air like water touched by light. The ground beneath her feet was not rock or soil, but something smooth and warm that pulsed faintly with energy, as if the planet itself was alive. Lily stood at the edge of a great platform high above the city. Below, towers of living crystal rose into the clouds, their surfaces shifting and glowing in patterns that seemed almost like language. Ember sat on her shoulder, his scales reflecting the strange light, his eyes wide with wonder. She had been here for 3 days, and still nothing felt real. Vera walked beside her, silent for once, her silver hair flowing in a gentle breeze that carried the scent of something sweet like blooming stars. "This is the heart of the Empire," Vera said finally, her voice low. "You are safe here. No one will harm you." Lily looked around at the graceful alien beings moving through the city, tall and calm, their violet eyes glowing softly. They wore flowing robes woven with threads of light, and when they saw Lily, they did not stare or point. They simply bowed their heads in quiet respect. "Why are they doing that?" Lily asked. "Because they know what you are," Vera said. "A rider is not just a person. It is a symbol of balance between worlds." Lily frowned. She still did not feel like a symbol. She felt like a girl who had spent years eating canned beans and sleeping in subway tunnels. They took her to a place called the Spire of Echoes, a tall, slender structure that rose from the center of the city, its walls made of a material that changed color with her mood. When she was nervous, it turned deep blue. When she calmed, it softened to green inside. The spire was quiet and warm. "Here you will learn," Vera said. "This is where riders trained in the old days before the Great Silence." Lily stepped inside and gasped. The room was filled with floating orbs of light, each one humming softly. When she reached out to touch one, it burst into a swirl of images: stars being born, dragons flying through nebulae, humans and Kalar standing side by side, building something beautiful. "What is this?" Lily whispered. "Memories," Vera said. "The spire remembers everything." That night Lily dreamed for the first time in years, not of fire or running, but of flying. She soared through space on the back of a dragon so large its wings blocked out entire galaxies, and below her worlds turned in harmony. When she woke, Ember was curled against her chest, purring softly. The next morning her training began. It did not start with weapons or fighting, but with silence, Vera said, in the center of a circular room with no doors or windows, just walls that breathed light. Lily sat now. "Listen." Lily closed her eyes. At first she heard nothing, just the sound of her own breath. But then slowly something else came, a low hum, deep and steady like a heartbeat. "It's the planet," she said, eyes still closed. "Yes," Vera replied, "the world speaks. If you learn to hear it." Day after day they practiced. Lily learned to quiet her mind, to feel the energy around her, to sense the presence of others without seeing them. She learned that dragons were not just animals, but beings of ancient power tied to the fabric of space itself. Ember grew stronger too. His scales began to shift colors, not just copper, but streaks of silver and blue. And sometimes when he slept, small flames danced around his claws without burning anything. One evening, as they walked through a garden of glowing flowers, Lily asked the question that had been weighing on her. What happened to the other riders? Vera stopped walking, her expression darkening. "They were hunted," she said, "not just by the Kalar, but by others too. The hive queens feared their power, so they spread lies. Said riders caused the last war, that they were dangerous, unstable. Were they some? Were Vera admitted power without wisdom is dangerous. But most riders were protectors. They kept the balance between species, between worlds. So why did no one stop the purge?" "Because fear is louder than truth," Vera said. "And once the killing started, no one dared speak." Up Lily looked down at her hands, remembering her sister's face the day the ships came. She had been taken along with thousands of others, never seen again. "Do you think any humans are still alive out there?" "I do," Vera said. "And I have sent scouts to find them under your condition. Remember?" Lily nodded. She had not forgotten. A week passed. Then too Lily began to feel changes in herself. She could sense when Ember was hungry before he made a sound. She could tell when a storm was coming on a distant moon. just by the way the air felt in the spire yon. Night she stood on the highest balcony of the spire looking up at the stars. She missed Earth, not the ruins or the fear, but the smell of rain on dry grass, the sound of birds in the morning, the way sunlight felt on her skin. You are thinking of home, Vera said, appearing beside her. Lily nodded. You can go back one day, Vera said. When you are ready, when you have the strength to protect it, and if I'm not strong enough, then we will be strong together, Vera said. Lily looked at her surprised. Why are you helping me? Really, Vera was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I lost someone too. My brother, he believed in peace between species. He tried to stop the purge and they killed him for it. I did nothing. I was afraid. But seeing you gives me hope that maybe I can make things right. Lily did not know what to say, so she simply nodded. The next morning something changed as Lily meditated in the spire. A deep vibration shook the ground, not violent but powerful, like a giant waking up ember shot into the air. His eyes wide. What's happening, Lily? Asked Vera, ran in her face pale. The great drake is coming. Lily's heart leapt. The one from Earth, no. Vera said, this one is older, much older. It has been sleeping in the rings of our sun for centuries, and it has sensed you. Before Lily could respond, the sky outside turned dark. Not with clouds but with wings, a dragon so vast it blotted out the sun. Descended slowly, its scales shimmering like galaxies. Its eyes ancient and knowing, it landed on the plain below the city, trembling with its weight. The Kaler gathered in silence. No one spoke. No one moved. The dragon lowered its head until its eye was level with the spire, and it looked at Lily not with hunger or anger, but with recognition. You are the one, it seemed to say. Lily's breath caught. She felt a pull in her chest, a connection deeper than words. Go, Vera urged softly. It is calling you. Lily stepped onto the balcony edge, her heart pounding. Ember flew ahead and landed on the dragon's snout. The great beast did not flinch, it only blinked. Slowly, Lily took a deep breath and jumped, but she did not fall. A current of warm air lifted her gently and carried her down to the dragon's back. Its scales were smooth and warm like sunlit stone. As soon as she touched it, images flooded her mind. Stars being born, worlds forming, riders standing with dragons guiding civilizations through darkness. She saw the truth. Riders were not rulers. They were guardians, and the galaxy was out of balance. When she opened her eyes, Vera stood below looking up at her with awe. What do you see? Lily asked, her voice stronger than before. A future, Vera said, if you choose to shape it. Lily looked out over the city, then up at the stars. She thought of Earth, of her sister, of the humans still hiding in the dark corners of space. She thought of the hive queens who would come for her if they knew she lived, and she thought of the promise she made to protect what was left. I choose to shape it, she said. The great dragon lifted its head and let out a sound, not a roar but a song, deep and clear, that echoed across the planet and into the void beyond, far away on a dozen hidden worlds. Humans looked up at the sky, on a broken moon. A girl digging through wreckage paused as a warmth filled her chest. On a drifting ship, an old man holding a faded photo felt tears in his eyes for no reason. Something had changed. Hope had returned back on the Kaler world. Lily sat tall on the dragon's back. Ember curled at her side. Vera standing below, ready to follow. The first step of a new journey had begun, not as a survivor, not as a prisoner, but as a rider. And this time she would not run, she would rise. The great dragon's wings cut through the upper atmosphere like silent knives, leaving trails of starlight in their wake. Lily held on tight, not with fear but with purpose. The wind rushed past her face, cold and clean. Ember clung to her shoulder, his tiny claws digging in just enough to remind her he was there. They were not flying aimlessly. The dragon knew where to go. Vera followed in a sleek silver skiff, shaped like a falling leaf, her ship humming softly as it matched their speed below them. The Kalar world shrank into a glowing jewel, then vanished into the dark sea of space. Lily had asked one thing before they left. Take me to the last place humans were seen. Vera had nodded without hesitation. Now they soared toward the outer rim, a region of space the Kalar rarely visited, too wild, too full of old ruins and broken signals. After hours of silent flight, The dragon slowed. Below them hung a derelict space station, its hull pitted and scarred solar panels torn loose. It spun, slowly in the void like a forgotten toy. "This is it," Vera's voice came through the comm in Lily's ear. The last human outpost before the silence. Lily's heart pounded. Is anyone still alive down there? "I don't know," Vera said. "Sensors show faint heat signatures, but they could be machines or animals." Lily looked at the dragon, its ancient eyes watching her calmly. "Can you take me closer?" The dragon dipped its head and glided toward the station. They landed on a wide docking bay, the metal groaning. Under the dragon's weight but holding strong, Lily stepped onto the platform. Her boots echoing in the empty silence, Ember hopped down and sniffed the air, his nose twitching. Vera landed her skiff nearby and joined them, her armor glowing faintly. "In the dim light, stay close," Vera whispered. They moved through the station corridors. Lights flickered on and off as if the place remembered human touch. Dust floated in the air, and the walls were covered in faded drawings, names, dates, messages scrawled. In hope or despair, Lee ran her fingers over one that read, "We are still here." Her throat tightened. Then a sound, a soft whimper. Ember's head snapped toward a sealed door at the end of the hall. Lily ran. The door was locked, but the dragon behind her exhaled. A soft breath of blue flame, and the lock melted like wax. Inside was a small room, and in the corner huddled 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, all thin and pale. Their clothes ragged, their eyes wide with fear. They stared at Lily like she was a ghost. "It's okay," Lily said, dropping to her knees, hands open. "I'm human like you." The girl blinked, then whispered, "Is it really over?" Lily didn't know what to say, so she just nodded. The children rushed forward, clinging to her, crying softly. Vera stood in the doorway watching, her expression unreadable. "How long have they been here?" Lily asked later, after they had given the children food and water from Vera's pack. "Months," one of the boys said. "Maybe a year. We don't know." Time got fuzzy after the lights went out. Their parents were scientists. The girl said they tried to send a signal, but no one came back. Lily looked at Vera. "Never received it," Vera said quietly. "The signal must have been blocked by the Hive Queens. They control this sector." "No, Lily's blood ran cold. Are they coming here?" "Not yet," Vera said, "but they will if they sense a rider's presence. We can't leave these kids," Lily said. "We won't," Vera replied. That night, while the children slept curled together under warm blankets, Lily stood on the observation deck looking out at the stars. The dragon rested outside, its massive form curled around the station like a shield. Vera joined her. "What are you thinking?" "That I thought I was alone," Lily said. "But I'm not, and that means I have to be stronger." "You already are," Vera said. No, Lily shook her head. "Being strong isn't just surviving, it's protecting others even when you're scared." Vera was silent for a moment, then she said, "The Hive Queens have a fortress on the moon of Zareth. It's where they keep prisoners and study forbidden tech. If your sister is alive, she might be there." Lily turned sharply. "You think she's still alive?" "I don't know," Vera said honestly. "But if anyone survived the purge, it would be in that fortress. They value strong minds for their experiments." Lily's fists clenched. "Then that's where we go next." "It's dangerous," Vera warned. "The fortress is guarded by drone swarms and mind readers." "I don't care," Lily said. "My sister taught me how to tie my shoes, how to read, how to be brave. I won't leave her behind." Vera studied her, then nodded. "Then we go together." The next morning they prepared. Vera gave the children communicators and a small ship hidden in the station's lower bay. It was old, but functional. "You'll fly to the Kalar homeworld," Lily told them. "You'll be safe there." The girl hugged her tight. "Thank you," as the children's ship lifted off. Lily watched until it vanished into the stars, then she turned to the dragon. "Ready?" The dragon lowered its head. Lily climbed onto its back. Ember, leaping after her, Vera boarded her skiff, and they jumped into the void. The journey to Zareth took 2 days. The moon was dark and jagged, its surface covered in black towers that pulsed with red light, like veins. The Hive Fortress stood at the center, a massive structure shaped like a thorn piercing the sky. As they approached, alarms blared across the moon. "They've detected us," Vera said. "I know," Lily replied. "Hold tight." The dragon did not slow. Instead, it roared. Not a sound of anger, but a call so deep it shook the moon's crust from the darkness of space. Something answered. First 1 light, then 10, then 100 dragons, not small ones like Ember, but great drakes of every color and size their wings, casting shadows over the fortress. The hive queens had not counted on this. They thought riders were gone. They thought dragons were myths. But now the sky was full of them. Lily's heart swelled. The dragon beneath her dove toward the fortress. Its wings, folding tight as it shot like a comet through the upper levels. Vera followed blasting drone swarms out of the air with precise energy pulses. They landed in a wide chamber filled with cells humans. Kalar. Even other species stood behind glowing bars, their eyes hollow with exhaustion. But one face made Lily freeze. At the far end of the room stood a woman with Lily's same dark eyes, same stubborn chin. Mayalili's sister Maya looked up and her eyes widened. Lily ran forward, the dragon melting. The cell locks with its breath, Maya stumbled out and they embraced so tightly it hurt. "I thought you were dead," Lily whispered. "I thought you were too," Maya said, tears streaming down her face. There was no time to talk. Alarms grew louder. The hive queens were coming. Vera appeared at the entrance, her armor scorched but intact. "We have to go now." Lily grabbed her sister's hand and they ran. The dragon waited outside the fortress, now surrounded by dozens of other drakes tearing through defenses with fire and Clogodon. Lily shouted. They climbed onto the dragon's back, Maya trembling with shock and wonder. "Who are they?" she asked, staring at the other Dragonsaur family. Lily said, "The dragon launched into the sky just as the ground below exploded." A figure rose from the fortress, tall and terrible, her body made of shifting black crystal, her eyes burning with rage. Queen Zara, the eldest of the hive. "You think you can steal what is mine, Rider?" She hissed, her voice like breaking glass. Lily met her gaze. "I'm not stealing. I'm taking back." The queen raised her hands and the sky filled with drones, thousands of them sharp and fast like metal wasps. But the dragons did not flinch with a single command from Lily. They moved as one diving through the swarm, their fire turning metal to ash. Vera's skiff darted through the chaos, firing precise shots that shattered the queen's energy shields. For a moment it looked like they would win. Then the queen screamed a word in the old tongue, and the ground opened. A beast rose from the depths, not a dragon, but something twisted, made of pain and stolen memories. Its eyes glowed with stolen rider energy. Lily gasped. "It's a hollow drake." They took a rider's soul and built a monster from it, the true. Dragons recoiled in sorrow. Lily knew what she had to do. She slid off the dragon's back and walked toward the edge of the platform. "Lily, no, Maya cried. "I have to," she said. She closed her eyes and reached out, not with her hands, but with her mind. She called to the hollow drake, not with fear, but with grief. "I see you," she whispered. "You were one of us." The beast paused, its glowing eyes flickering. In that moment of stillness, Lily sent a pulse of pure memory. Not of war, but of peace. Of a rider and her dragon, watching a sunset on a green world of laughter and flight and home. The hollow drake let out a sound like a sob. Then it shattered into light. Queen Zara screamed in rage. But it was too late. Vera fired one last shot straight into the queen's core. The high fortress collapsed in on itself, swallowed by the moon's gravity. Lily ran back to the dragon, pulling Maya with her. They soared away as Zareth burned behind them. In the quiet of space, Maya held Lily's hand tight. "Who are you now?" she asked. Lily looked at the dragons flying beside them, at Vera's skiff glowing softly, at Ember curled content on her lap. "I'm your sister," she said. "And I'm a redder." And for the first time in years she felt whole. The war was not over. But the tide had turned, and Lily would not face it alone. The journey back to the KLR homeworld was quiet. Not the silence of fear, but the calm after a storm. The dragons flew in loose formation around them, their wings catching starlight like sails on an ancient sea. Maya sat behind Lily on the great dragon's back, her arms wrapped tightly around her sister's waist, her eyes wide but no longer afraid. She had seen the impossible, and lived. Vera's skiff glided just ahead. Its soft hum a steady rhythm in the void. Ember slept curled in the crook of Lily's arm, his tiny chest rising and falling with each breath. No one spoke, there was no need. They had done what no one believed possible. They had struck at the heart of the hive and walked away with hope in their hands when they finally landed. On the glowing platform of the Spire of Echoes, the city below erupted in light, not with weapons but with celebration towers pulsed in waves of gold and violet. Kalar gathered in the streets not in armor, but in robes of peace. They knew the rider had returned not broken but stronger, and she had brought others with her. Maya stepped onto the platform on shaky legs. She looked around at the alien city, her eyes full of wonder and disbelief. "This is real," she whispered. Lily squeezed her hand. "It is." They were taken to the healing halls, a place of soft light and warm air, where the wounded were mended not just in body but in spirit. Maya was given clean clothes, warm food, and a bed that seemed to mold to her shape. For the first time in years she slept, without nightmares. While she rested, Lily met with the elders of the Kalar Council. They sat in a circular chamber beneath the spire, their faces lined with age and regret. "You have changed everything," one elder said, his voice trembling. "I didn't do it alone," Lily replied. Novera said from the doorway, "You reminded us of who we were meant to be." The council bowed their heads in silence. That evening, Lily sat with Maya on a balcony overlooking the city. Stars glittered above and the air smelled of blooming night flowers. "Tell me everything," Maya said. So Lily did. She spoke of the burning of Earth, of hiding in ruins, of finding Ember, of meeting Vera, of learning. She was a reader. Maya listened without interrupting, her eyes never leaving Lily's face. When Lily finished, Maya reached out and touched the small scar on Lily's cheek. "You grew up so fast," she said. "You never stopped being my big sister," Lily replied. They sat in silence for a long time. Then Maya asked, "What now?" Lily looked out at the stars. "No, we rebuild not just Earth, not just the Kalar world, but everything the Hive Queens broke." The next morning, Lily stood before the great dragon in the central plaza of the city. Around her gathered the other dragons who had answered her call. They bowed their heads, not in submission but in respect. Lily closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. She did not command. She asked, "Will you help us heal the galaxy?" The dragons answered not with words, but with a single note, a deep hum that vibrated through the ground and into the sky. Yes, that day the first fleet was formed. Not a war fleet, but a rescue fleet. Ships were refitted with living cores powered by dragon energy. Not for destruction, but for travel, healing, and communication. Maya worked with Kalar engineers, her human mind full of clever ideas. She designed pods that could grow food in dead soil shelters, that cleaned poisoned air tools, that turned waste into water. Vera led the scouts. They flew to forgotten worlds, listening for whispers of survivors, and Lily became the bridge. She traveled with the dragons to broken colonies, speaking to those who had lost everything, showing them they were not alone. On a frozen moon, she met a group of humans living in caves. They had not seen the sun in years. When the dragon landed, they fell to their knees thinking it was the end. But Lily stepped forward barefoot in the snow and held out her hand. "We're here to help," she said. On a desert planet, she found a Kalar exile who had refused to join the purge. He had spent decades tending a garden of memory flowers, each one grown from the name of a lost human child. Lily knelt beside him and planted a new flower for those who would return. Word spread. The writer lives, and with her comes hope. Weeks turned into months. Arth remained silent, but Lily did not forget it. One evening she stood with Vera at the edge of the world, looking up at the stars. "Do you think we can go back soon?" Lily asked. Vera nodded. "The Aurora is ready. We've repaired it with dragon-forged parts. It can carry a full crew and a seed." Vault. Lily smiled. The Aurora was the last human ship, the one she had almost launched on that stormy night. Now it would carry life instead of escape. The next phase began. They called it the Bloom Ship after ship left the Kalar homeworld not to conquer but to plant. They carried seeds of trees and grass and flowers. They carried clean water and medicine. They carried stories and songs and the promise of a new beginning. Maya led the first team to a ruined human colony on Mars. The red dust had buried the cities, but beneath it, life waited. With dragon fire and human hands, they cleared the rubble and planted the first garden. When the first green shoot broke through the soil, Maya cried. Back on the KLR world, Lily trained new writers, not just humans, but KLR children who showed the gift. The ability to hear the hum of the world, to feel the presence of dragons, it was slow work. Trust did not grow overnight, but it grew. One afternoon, a young Kaler girl named Nira stood trembling before Ember. "He's so small," she whispered. Lily smiled. "Dragons come in all sizes." Nira reached out slowly. Ember chirped and nuzzled her palm. That moment a bond formed. The first of many. Lily knew the Hive Queens were not gone. Queen Zara had fallen, but others remained hidden in the dark corners of the galaxy waiting. But they were no longer afraid, because now the galaxy had riders again, and riders had dragons, and dragons had each other. One night, as Lily sat on the highest balcony of the spire, Ember on her lap and the great dragon resting below, Vera joined her. "You look tired," Vera said. Lily smiled. "I am. But it's a good tired." Vera sat beside her. "Do you ever miss the quiet? The running? The just you and Ember days?" "Sometimes," Lily said. "But this is better. We're not just surviving, we're building something that matters." Vera nodded. "I never believed I would see this. See what peace, not perfect, not finished, but possible." They sat in silence, watching the city glow below. Then Lily spoke softly. "I want to go to Earth soon." Vera looked at her. "Really? I need to see it with my own eyes." She said, "Not as a memory, but as a place that can live again." Vera smiled. "Then we go together." 2 days later, the Aurora lifted from the launch spire, its hull gleaming with silver vines grown by Kaler hands, its engines humming with dragon energy. Maya stood on the bridge beside Lily, her hands steady on the controls. Vera sat in the co-pilot seat. Ember curled on the console between them. The great dragon flew beside them, its wings casting a shadow over the ship like a guardian. As they jumped into the starstream, Lily looked back one last time at the Kaler world. Then she turned forward toward home. The journey took 10 days. When Earth finally appeared on the view screen, Maya gasped. It was still scarred. Cities lay in ruins. Forests were blackened, oceans were dull, but there was green, tiny patches of green pushing through the ash. They landed near the old library in New Haven, the place where it all began. Rain fell softly, not the storm of before, but a gentle shower that smelled of wet earth and new growth. Lily stepped onto the soil and knelt. She pressed her palm to the ground and closed her eyes. She felt it, the heartbeat of the world, faint but there. Ember hopped down and dug a small hole with his claws. Lily pulled a seed from her pocket, a tree seed from the Kaler gardens. She planted it. Then she stood and looked at the sky. "We're home," she whispered, and high above the clouds the great dragon let out a song that echoed across the broken land, a song of return, song of hope, a song that said, "We are still here, and we will grow again." The seed Lily planted grew faster than anyone expected. Within days, a green shoot pushed through the black soil. Within weeks, it stood as tall as her knee, its leaves wide and silver-veined like starlight caught in glass. People came, not just from the Kaler ships, but from the hidden places of Earth. A family emerged from the subway tunnels, their faces pale from years underground. A group of teenagers climbed down from the mountains where they had lived off wild roots and rainwater. An old man walked for 3 days just to see the tree with his own eyes. He touched its bark and wept. Lily welcomed them all. She did not call herself a leader. She called herself a gardener. And Earth needed gardeners more than rulers. With Maya's help, they built a new settlement around the tree. They called it. First root houses were made from salvaged metal and living vines brought from the Kalar world, walls that breathed and healed. Small cracks on their own. Water came from sky collectors that pulled moisture from the air and cleaned it with dragon-forged filters. Food grew in rooftop gardens where Ember liked to nap in the sun, his scales now streaked with gold from the energy of the healing world. Vera stayed too. She no longer wore the armor of a princess, but simple robes woven with threads of moss and light. She taught the Kalar who came to help how to listen to the land instead of commanding it, and Lily taught the humans how to speak to the small dragons that began to appear. They were not all like Ember. Some were shy, some were bold, some glowed blue or green or soft white, but all of them chose their humans carefully. Bonding was not forced. It was a quiet moment, a shared breath, a look that said, "I see you." One morning, a boy named Leo found a dragon, no bigger than his hand, hiding in a rusted carrot. Watched him with eyes like liquid moonlight. He sat very still and offered it a berry. The dragon ate it, then curled around his wrist like a living bracelet. Lily smiled when she saw them. Another rider. The word spread more came, not just to First Route but to other places too in the ruins of Chicago. A woman sang to a broken river and a dragon answered, in the deserts of Arizona. A man shared his last drop of water with a wounded skydrake and woke to find the land blooming around him. The hive queens heard the rumors. They sent spies, shadow drones that looked like birds watched from the clouds. But the dragons sensed them, and one by one the spies fell from the sky, turned to ash by silent fire. Still the queens waited. They knew a single rider could be stopped, but a world waking up could not. Lily felt their eyes on her. She dreamed of black thrones and hollow voices calling her name, but she did not hide. Instead, she gathered the new riders in the clearing. Around the first tree there were 12, now 6 humans, 6 Kaler boys and girls and adults standing together. Their dragons perched on shoulders or coiled at their feet. You are not alone. She told them the hive will come, they always do. But we are, not what they remember. We are not weapons, she said, we are roots, and roots hold the world together. They trained not in war but in connection. They learned to share thoughts through the dragons, to heal sick land, to calm storms with song. Maya built a school from the shell of an old library. Books were copied by hand, stories passed down so nothing would be lost again. Vera walked the borders of First Route every night, not as a guard but as a listener. She heard the whispers of the soil, the cries of distant animals, the slow return of bees and birds. One evening, she found Lily sitting by the river that had once been dry. It flowed now clear and cold. You're thinking about her, Lily said without looking up. Vera sat beside her. Yes, your brother. Wonder if he would be proud. Lily picked up a smooth stone and tossed it into the water. Watch the ripples spread. He would, Vera said softly. They sat in silence as the sun set, painting the sky in colors that had not been seen on Earth in years. Next morning the alarm came not from machines but from the dragons. They rose into the sky all at once, their wings blocking. The dawn. Lily ran to the high watchtower. In the distance over the eastern hills a fleet appeared. Not Kaler ships, not human hive. Vessels black and sharp like teeth tearing the sky. They had come not with 1 queen but 3. And behind them floated a new horror. A machine shaped like a dragon but made of bone and wire. Its eyes empty, its wings torn a second hollow, Drake worse than the first. Maya joined Lily on the tower, her face pale but steady. What do we now do what we were born to do? Lily said. We protect. She did not sound afraid. She sounded ready. The new riders gathered in the field, their dragons circling above. Vera stood at Lily's side, her hands empty of weapons. We do not fight with fire this time. Lily said. We fight with truth. As the hive fleet descended, the ground trembled. The 3 queens landed first, their forms tall and terrible, their voices like cracking ice. You think your little garden can stop the end, rider? One hissed. Lily stepped forward alone. No, she said. I think it can begin. The hollow drake screeched and lunged, but Lily did not move. Instead, she closed her eyes and sang, not a battle cry, but a lullaby, the same one her mother used to sing, the same one she hummed to Ember when he was small. The dragons joined her, not with roars but with harmony. A sound so pure it made the air shimmer. The hollow drake faltered. Its empty eyes flickered, and, in that moment, Lily reached into its mind not to break it but to remember its. He saw the rider at once was a young Kaler girl named Syra, who had loved the stars and danced in the rain. Lily showed her the tree, the river, the children laughing in the sun. You are not gone, she whispered. You are still here. The hollow drake shuddered. Then it collapsed into dust. But from the dust rose a single silver flower. The queens screamed in rage. They charged. But the earth itself rose to meet them. Vines shot from the ground, wrapping around their legs. The river surged, flooding their path. The new riders stood firm, hands linked, dragons glowing, and Lily walked toward the queens. Not with hate, but with sorrow. You are afraid, she said, and fear makes you cruel. Own. Queen lunged, claws out. But Ember met her midair. He was small, but his fire was ancient. He burned not her body, but her fear. The queen fell to her knees, not dead, but changed. The other 2 hesitated. Then they turned and fled back to their ships. The hive fleet retreated into the cloud. Silence returned. But it was not the silence of emptiness. It was the silence of breath held and then released. The people of First Route cheered, but Lily did not celebrate. She knelt and touched the silver flower. It would not be the last battle, but it was the first true victory. That night they held a feast under the stars. Music played on instruments made from scrap and bone. Children danced with dragons, weaving light through the air. Maya sat with Leo the boy rider, teaching him how to read old star maps. Vera walked the edge of the settlement, her hand resting on the bark of the first tree. Lily stood apart for a moment, looking up at the sky. Ember landed on her shoulder, warm and steady. "You did good," he seemed to say. "All did," Lily whispered. She thought of the years of running the nights of fear, the weight of being the last. Now she was not last. She was first. First of many, first of a new kind of world, where humans and Kaler and dragons lived not as masters or slaves, but as partners, as familiar's roots. The wind blew through the trees, carrying the scent of rain and green things growing. Somewhere far away, a hive queen wept in her black tower. But here the world was healing, and Lily finally let herself believe it. Would be enough.